Thumbs up by the touchdown. I'm high stepping for the touchdown. I stay repping for the slums where the young bucks love to load it up just to bust rounds.
Hey everyone, and welcome to the AFC South Fan Battle podcast. I'm your host today, Matthew Brigg, and with me I have two great gentlemen representing the Jacksonville Jaguars, Mr. Bearded Guns himself, Justin Gonzalez. Say what's up to the folks.
Hello. Jaguars requested another interview with Doug Peterson. So, hello, Super Bowl.
And with us, Titans #1 Colts hater, coming at you with all the Titans troll. We got Haris Nucala.
It's still very impressive how the Titans continue to justify losing.
Right. Well, guys, talking about Titans, the game that they weren't in this weekend. It was a great weekend of football again. Like, to me, I think this has to be the greatest playoffs so far in history, right? I mean, there hasn't really been a bad game yet, right?
Yeah. No, I agree. I think I was actually you really think back, and every single game has been close or down to the wire, with the exception of maybe one. But yeah, no, I mean, this just goes to show, as we head into the next era of football, what's important in winning a championship, and it's quarterbacks, defensive lines, and weapons. That's what's going to get you over the hump moving forward.
Yeah, and I 100% agree. I think all the games minus the Bills-Patriots game has been incredibly fun. So looking forward to the Super Bowl.
Right. It's either been like a nonstop defensive game or just a higher power offensive game. Either one, just going back and forth, which is always fun to watch. Before we go in more detail of the games, breaking news. The GOAT, he retires. Tom Brady finally announced that he's done with the game. I know there was news breaking this weekend that he retired, and he said he's not retiring. But today he finally came out himself and said, "Yep, I'm done." Thoughts? We'll start with you, Justin.
I would like to go back and look and see how many times Tom Brady won a Super Bowl without a defense that was in the top 5, top 6. That's something that, hey, if you're listening and you know this, feel free to comment in the group page. But that's one thing I like to see. But yes, great career. Good for him. Glad it's over. Let's move on. It's the Joe Burrow era now. So.
Oh, already claiming the Joe Burrow era, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Oh. Haris, what about you? You in the same with Justin? Joe Burrow era? Trying to move on?
No, I don't know if it's the Joe Burrow era. I just think, 2 years ago, was it 2 years ago when the Chiefs won the Super Bowl? Everybody was so quick to crown the Chiefs the new Patriots, and their road is so much harder than the Patriots ever had it. It's and not just in the NFL, in the AFC alone, right? Like, let's not get it twisted. Like I said, quarterbacks, defensive lines, and weapons win Super Bowls, right? That's the new era. And, Patrick Mahomes, Tom Brady had faced basically nobody but Peyton Manning and Ben Roethlisberger for 20 years, right? Now you got Joe Burrow, you have Josh Allen, there's just so much talent in just the AFC alone. And I look at all of our teams respectively, and Trevor Lawrence is the only quarterback in the division that's even part of that conversation. He's not even there yet, right? He's got the highest potential. No, Ryan Tannehill's not competing with those guys. Carson Wentz isn't competing with those guys. And whoever the Texans quarterback is seems to be changed every other week. Isn't competing with those guys. And I just think
get out of here. It's Money Mills. It's been Money Mills since we beat the Titans.
Oh yeah, money Mills. Yeah, that guy. Not competing with those guys. Like it's just and if they want to, those guys need defensive lines, which the Titans have a really good defensive line. And weapons. I mean, if they can get a guy that's even halfway decent, that isn't like 95 years old, they could probably stand there for a little bit. But yeah, it's just crazy how much QB talent there is in just the AFC alone these days.
What do you think, Justin? You agree with that, or?
Yeah, I think what we've seen is that we've seen guys come out of the NFL or come out of college, go straight into the NFL and be successful. That was not the case 10 years ago. Like if you look back on it, Jamar Chase comes out of college and succeeds right away. Justin Jefferson comes out. I think if Joe Burrow would have played a full year, not towards ACL, he would have had a first, successful year, with the idea that his team was just ass. Offensive line, defense was ass, but he had two good receivers in Boyd and T. Higgins. But I think like these guys that are coming out of college, they're plug and play, I think, at this point now. I think the only position that has any really like trouble adapting to the NFL is like the linebackers at this point that are coming out of college. I think that they have a hard time transitioning from a college scheme to the massively craftful RPO scheme in the NFL where everyone's quicker. I think that's the one thing.
The speed is way different.
Yeah, and I think like the assignments are different. Even though they run RPOs in college, I think the talent pool has a higher floor than they do in college. But I do agree with everything Rich said. I really do think that the AFC, like it's kind of like this, right? I think the AFC is like, their ceiling super high and their floor is really high at this point, and they're young, where at this point, the NFC, I'm not trying to knock on those guys, but yeah, their ceiling's high, but their floor is low. And I think at this point, they're getting older, and you're going to see, Rodgers is getting close to, that point. Russell Wilson, you don't know where he's going to end up. There's just so many factors. So I think everyone in the AFC should be happy about, the next 10 years. Unless you're the Titans, you should be pretty upset.
Yeah, I mean, if you think about it, Joe Burrow got to the Super Bowl with no offensive line. His defense wasn't great, but it wasn't terrible either. I mean, if you give him an offensive line and a couple of key pieces on defense, dude, you can see him in the Super Bowl more of this time,
Yeah. His defense isn't great, but like I said, you don't need much to beat Patrick Mahomes. You just need to pressure the guy, make him come comfortable, and we'll talk about it here in a little bit. But as I said, it's very possible.
Right. Well, in other news breaking today, Brian Flores opened up a lawsuit against the Miami Dolphins, the New York Giants, and John Doe teams, which is looking like 20 other teams in the NFL. Which those teams are, who knows? But if you've been following, it's not looking good for the Dolphins at all. Like, this is bad news. Like, there's tampering. There's text message saying, "Hey, I'll give you $100,000 to lose games on purpose." And Justin, you touched based on it earlier today. They got sports betting involved. So, Hurry, so let's start off with you. Like, what's going to be the outcome of this?
I don't even know, dude. This
is
so crazy. Like, listen, and then you got all this shows the Rooney Rule is bullshit, right? Call a spade a spade. The Rooney Rule is fucking stupid. It's a shut up and coach tactic, or shut up and just be happy tactic. I don't care what anybody says. There's no way. And I think I was talking to one of our other regulars on the show, Chris Jackson, earlier, and he said something like, the rule is bullshit is because Adam Gase went from the Dolphins fired. What was it, like not even a week later he was hired by the Jets, right? And you got guys like Jim Caldwell who hasn't even, had an offer since making the Lions last relevant fucking 5 years ago. The rule is just a compensation rule. It's hey, just if you look at, was it the Giants? Is it the Giants basically? Pretty much had their coach decided before even interviewing Brian Flores and was just doing it just to do it. I think that the Broncos one is the most damning. I think that's some fucked up shit. Like, wow. So these teams don't take the rule seriously. It's a bullshit rule. It's a shut up and just,
In theory, it is a great idea to try to give a minority a shot. But it's like you said, Chris Jackson said something was great. It's all for optics, and it's nothing about getting somebody a shot. So,
I think the other piece is, in theory, it sounds great, right? But the leadership of the NFL, it's just so. I feel like I don't know if tone depth is the right word to use, but it's also just the NFL already stating there's no merit to these claims. How did you figure out in 2 hours that there's no merit to any of the claims?
So a bunch of white dudes at the top of the food chain in the NFL were like, nah, there's no problems with anything. Like, hey, 2 years ago, we're like, hey, let's put Black Lives Matters on all the field and end racism on helmets. But hey, when it actually comes down to the nitty gritty and a black coach goes to interview for a job, it's just plain bullshit. The NFL's like, we'll just cover that up. It'll be fine. There's no merit to that. We're not racist, just kidding. That's what I got from it, in all honesty.
I think in the pro sports, the epitome of diversity is the NBA, and like not the epitome. That's what diversity looks like, in my opinion. I think that's the league that's truly taking it seriously.
Baseball as well. Baseball is
Obviously the Latinos, right? Yeah.
And the NFL is just the last one, and it's.
It's just ran by a bunch of white dudes. You know how you fix the problem? You get minority owners. That's how you fix it. I really do. Because then you get a voice that's inside that ring of 32 people.
Yeah.
And it kind of breaks down those barriers. Because now I won't go down that route, but to be honest, you see right now all these big companies that are, sexual harassment claims are coming out, right? Because all these CEOs and all these people that are a lot older in age, and you see that stuff coming out, and you're like, damn, like how can that shit come out? It's because it's been bred into them, not necessarily the sexual harassment part, but people have just enabled it for years and years and years. And it got to a point where people started getting HR departments. They're like, hey, this is not okay. Stop doing that. Well, you hope the next generation of people that come through don't do that. And they say, oh yeah, that is fucked up. And that's what you would hope with the NFL is that, we as the people that would essentially, our generation, be the ones that would eventually be the owners or, the GMs and stuff like that, to not make stupid decisions like this. The dude went to the playoffs with a shitty Dolphins team. He won 7 games in a row. You mean to tell me that no offense to Nathaniel Hackett and the Broncos, before I should have got that job over Hackett, because Hackett's dog shit.
Oh, is that who their coach is?
I thought that's who they hired. Don't quote me on that, but that's who they were looking at. And I get it, the ties with Rodgers and Devontae Adams because he was in Green Bay, but damn, homie, like
no offense to the ball either, but he's better. I mean, how you gonna go from an OC to New York instead of having like you said, a good head coaching career so far? I mean, took a horrible Dolphins team and turned it around.
Yeah.
And
they're just going to give Flores money. The NFL is. They're going to be like, oh, we did nothing wrong, and just, wipe the slate clean and give him money and call it a day. And that's what's going to suck about the whole situation. But
kind of piggyback off what you said earlier, people enabled this this behavior. You're right. As a Texans fans, look what Bob McNair said. You can't let the inmates run the prison or whatever.
Right.
And then you had his son saying Asian hate. Look, nothing's being done. But what was it, 4 or 5 years ago? The Clippers manager, the owner, said something racist.
He's gone. He's gone immediately.
Right. Yeah.
So that's where it differs. People are held accountable and different. That's why I was trying to say earlier, the NFL is kind of backtracking instead of stepping forward.
You can't have it both ways. You can't put in racism on the field and then do dumb shit like this. I don't care if it's true or not. The NFL should have came out and said, we support Brian Flores. We're going to explore this in all facets and figure out what really happened instead of just blatantly saying, nope, not sure. Like it just didn't support him at all. So,
well, you know why? Because Goodell is owned by the owners, so he's going to stand by whatever the owners want.
Yeah, which makes him a spineless piece of shit, just as well.
I mean, I just think like the Goodell is trying to protect the brand, and the brand, unfortunately, is a bunch of retired white dudes that have billions and billions of dollars. That's the fact. Yeah. So.
Well,
but hey, just regardless of all this, let's just call it facts. NFL is still king. I this is really fucked up, but I'm not gonna sit here and say I'm boycotting the NFL because it's definitely not gonna happen.
Right.
No, I'm not, but I just wish
I don't like it though, but
yeah, I don't either. And I think the teams that that this lawsuit's again, hopefully they take a hard look at themselves, and hopefully if what comes out is true, that they get punished in some form or fashion, kind of like when the Patriots got punished for cheating in the Super Bowl.
Because this is worse than cheating.
No, absolutely. But I mean, you gotta slap someone on the hand to make it hurt. You know what I mean? To make them realize they did something wrong. So do something.
But we all know it's not going to happen.
Nothing's going to happen, right? This will get swept under the rugs in a month. Nobody will talk about it, and we'll just all move on with life. Because that's how fucked up the league is, right? At a leadership level.
Well, we know he'll never hear this, but Brian Flores, we stand behind you. We'll
tweet at him.
Right. Speaking of head coaching jobs, Justin, you mentioned earlier Jaguars interviewing Peterson. The second time, correct?
Yeah. So, long story short, everyone thought Byron Leftwich was a done deal. No offense to everyone, everybody that wanted him. Okay, cool. Like I've talked about it enough on here that I don't think he's the guy. But long story short, they're bringing in the old Vikings GM. That was the GM from 2011 to 2021.
So they are getting rid of Bucky.
Not yet. They're bringing him in as a
consultant.
VP of football operations, and then Balky would report to him. The head coach would potentially be Peterson, offensive coordinator to be determined, but the defensive coordinator would be the defensive coordinator. Excuse me, I can't talk. Would be Vic Fangio from the Broncos, which
fucking seriously?
Yeah, which I would support. So you get Peterson, a good defensive coach. We'll figure out the OC.
So that's why they flew Vic. Okay.
Yeah, and they also flew out the interim coach for the Raiders. Okay. They flew him out, and everybody thought that he was being interviewed for the head coaching job. But like Fangio, they were both being interviewed for coordinator jobs. And the interim coach for the Raiders was interviewed for the special teams coordinator for the Jaguars. So if they put that, megazord of coaches together, I wanted Peterson or Caldwell from the beginning. I'll take Peterson right now. Like, I would be ecstatic going into the year with those guys there, and then Balky being in his role. Now, we know what's going to happen, right? the VP's just setting up to get fucking rid of Balky after the draft.
Yeah.
And he's going to be the guy, and he's going to hire one of his analytic minion guys that got let go from the Vikings. And I'll be honest, the Vikings had more success than us in the past fucking 5 years. So I'll take their record any day of the week. So
I hate those analytic shitheads, by the way.
really?
Oh, I fucking hate them. I hate them with such a passion. Like the fucking league is not about coaching anymore. It's about, oh, you know what? This piece of paper here in Tableau says we need to run the ball because it's 4th and 1. Because 95% of the time you're gonna get it. And you go to Jacksonville, you get stuffed by fucking 8-string defensive tackle.
Oh, that one was personal. Okay, got it. That was a personal one. Got it.
Yeah, whatever. Fuck analytics.
So say that Wilson did move in and Balky did leave and Brian Leftwich was hired. Would he have been done?
Yeah, I mean, Balky would be gone because they have their GM and head coach.
No, I'm saying, would you be done being a fan if that happened? If Wilson came in?
No, because I'm addicted, and that's what addiction does. You know, like
at least you're honest.
Yeah, you do things you don't want to do and whatever, and you give people money that you don't want to watch a product that's shit. Makes you unhappy and depressed. Well, not depressed. That's a little deep, but like unhappy. Like, yeah.
Oh, let us know how you feel, Justin.
No, I wouldn't be done. I wouldn't be done, but it's just like they've like completely botched this whole process. I think, like from an optics standpoint, like if you were gonna hire Leftwich, you needed to do it like a week ago. Like it's too late now. Like. And I think he's going to go somewhere and be successful, but I want someone now to be great and to come into a situation and be great.
Right. Well, staying in the division, the Texans have interviewed O'Connell, the Rams OC, for a second time, Flores for a second time, Gannon, and McCown for a second time.
Rich Gannon?
No.
Okay.
The DC from
Jonathan Gannon, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry.
Yeah. I mean, I won't mind Rich Gannon either. He was offensive guru too, but but what it sounds like before the lawsuit was opened, it sounded like O'Connell from the Rams was going to be the head coach, and Flores was going to be the DC, and McCown, of course, the quarterback coach. But
that'd have been dope.
It would have. It'd been a great coaching staff. But now with the lawsuit, I don't know if that changes what the deal is. Does he still want, maybe that's why he filed a lawsuit because he didn't want to be a DC, he want to be a head coach. Maybe we're one of those teams.
Absolutely. Yep.
But, I wanted Flores as my number one because, like we said earlier, he's a great coach. Or so far. But who knows?
I mean, he won with Tua, dude.
Right.
Like Tua's okay. He's good at a couple of things, but like he won with Ryan Fitzpatrick. Like if I'm trying to bring a guy into a system that needs to rebuild a team, ding, 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 book it. That's who I want.
Right, and coming from a Jags and Texans standpoint, you kind of most definitely the Jaguars. You got your quarterback for the future in Lawrence. Maybe Mills is the quarterback. Who knows? But you got that quarterback you can build on. Why not why not want that guy?
Mm-hmm.
You got an up and coming defense. He's a great defensive minded coach.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Why not? I don't know. To be a mind of an owner or GM, I guess you have to be on crack or something because this doesn't make sense. Before we move on to the weekend's games, McDaniels to the Raiders, and it looks like Harbaugh to the Vikings.
I was going to say, it looks like Harbaugh to the Vikings
Well, everybody saw it. Not really.
No, I mean, it's been going around for a little bit. I'm not surprised Harbaugh is coming back to the NFL. I think not that, and it's interesting how people are like, oh, well, he finally did something at Michigan and now he wants to leave. I think Harbaugh's always wanted to leave the NFL. The opportunity just hasn't arisen, right? I think
he probably had to get that monkey off his back too, and that's beat Ohio State, and he finally did.
Yeah, fine. Yeah, whatever. Right. Like I still, even if he didn't beat Ohio State, who gives a shit? Like he's always wanted to go back to the NFL, and I think that's always been his thing. I think this has kind of spearheaded that and kind of leapfrogged him, and probably, yeah, I think you're right. Probably mentally for himself, he's like, all right, that's done. Now we can move on and actually aggressively go after this.
I think he almost got fired from Michigan last year. I think everyone going into this year forgets that he was on the outs. Right. And if it wasn't for that defensive coordinator that came in there and retooled their scheme, who is now he got hired by somebody to be the defense coordinator in the NFL, I believe, because he was one and done, right? He went out there and schemed the fuck out of that defense, and my goodness, that defense, until they got to Georgia, was incredibly good. Yep. And he rode the coattails on that because all he did was run the ball and played good defense, and that's what got him to Georgia. And then they inevitably lost. But I agree that he kind of saw the writing on the wall and said, hey, if I go out there and stink again, I'm going to get fired. You know what I mean? And getting back to the NFL, I agree, has probably always been his goal. But, getting paid at Michigan, making probably what he's making, and working in that program, he knew, like you're saying, he could be in that incubator just waiting for the right role to come up and say, all right, my time here's finished. I'm going to take this role with X team and go get back after it. And I agree. I think that's what he did. But, yeah, I think everyone just forgets that he lost quite a bit of games the year before. He was almost on the outs, and they're like, we'll give him one more shot. And now he looks great, and it's
correct
a opportunity.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Didn't they just give Jim Harbaugh an extension last year?
I'd have to look. I don't know offhand.
I'm looking it up. I'm pretty sure he got an extension after last year or the year before.
But in that his kind of his recipe of success, even back to when he was in the NFL, have a great defense and ride the coattails of a running game. I mean, he did that with the 49ers.
Yeah. And it works, right? He does it. It works. Yeah, he got an extension in 2021. Right after that meltdown they had last year. So literally 2 weeks after the title game, he got an extension. So I don't think he was in danger of losing that Michigan job at all. I think I think he'd always had an eye for going back to the NFL, and I think proving a point, proving a point that he can win at the highest level is probably on his mind.
But dude, they went 2-4 in the conference. 2-4. Rutgers had a better record than they did in the conference. Rutgers
2 years ago, yeah, I know.
No. In 2020, they went 2-4 in the conference.
He got an extension, and then he got an extension.
It's the wildest thing.
I'm telling you, he was not in danger of losing that job.
I don't know, man. But yeah. Well, by the way, the defensive coordinator from Michigan signed with Baltimore, the Baltimore Ravens. So he's going to go there and just look like a genius with their tools, but.
We're finally gonna have a defense all year long instead of the first 8 games and disappear.
Yeah, get tired.
Right.
Speaking of defense, the Colts are looking for a defensive coordinator, and it looks like they've. Sorry, let me rephrase that. The Colts are looking for an entire defensive staff, and it looks like they've narrowed their options down, and I kind of like it. I think I told you guys I had probably about 6 or 7 options that I wanted for defensive coordinator, and I'm excited to see that one of my options is one of the finalists. Actually, 3 of my options are one of the finalists. I'm actually kind of upset to see that Mike Zimmer hasn't even gotten a call yet, but very interested in seeing where that goes.
I'm surprised he hasn't got a call period for any team.
Yeah, me too. I mean, he did. I think he did fine with the Vikings.
That's like
From what they were to where they are now. Like
that's like Caldwell. Like Caldwell has. I mean, yeah, some teams interview him, but let's be honest, that's probably because of the Rooney Rule.
yeah,
But,
oh yeah, absolutely.
I mean, why not give him a legit shot?
Yeah.
Each team he went to had success with him. So, you know. Well, guys, let's get to it. Conference round weekend. Start off with the first game, Bengals and Chiefs. Anybody shocked by the outcome? No.
No, I don't think
I
so.
wouldn't say I'm shocked. No. I'm shocked that people thought. I was shocked that people were shocked that the outcome was the outcome. Oh, by the way, you can't play defense in overtime.
Right. Well, it's like we tried to tell John. John said last week, nobody can beat the Chiefs because they can't stop Mahomes. We all said all you had to do was put some pressure on them, and look what Cincinnati did. And their front seven is not that great.
So, Cincy's. Yeah, it's really not. They have Trey Hendrickson who got hurt, I think,
and came back.
He came back, but again, that's their best defensive lineman, who's a beast. But he's actually really good, by the way. But that's neither here nor there. But yeah, no, it's all you gotta do is pressure him. You don't have to sack him. You just gotta make him comfortable. You're not gonna sack Patrick Mahomes every day. It's not possible, right? He's too mobile. But yeah, you could definitely get him into some situations, and you saw late in the game, fourth quarter, overtime, there was basically pressure as soon as he snapped the ball. Right? Like he was running around doing gymnastics for a little bit for some of those plays.
Well, that play before they had kicked the field goal, everybody went in coverage and and one finally just said screw it and went after him. It's all about pressing the quarterback.
Yep.
21-10 going at halftime. Justin, you thought the game was over? You think the Bengals was out of it?
I thought that the Chiefs were going to come out, score one more time, and then run the ball the rest of the game and win. They didn't. And I don't know if this is an Andy Reid blunder, but I was kind of baffled, and I'm not trying to jump ahead, but the last minute 43 seconds when they're in the red zone and they could have scored, but they're Patrick Mahomes scrambles out of the pocket for a little bit, right? And he's like, I'm just going to go down to kill the clock. And then what happens is that they got put in a situation where they got pushed back, and now they're at third and whatever, second down, on second down, right before they had to kick the field goal. Patrick Mahomes is scrambling out of the pocket. And if you just would have looked to the right, McCole Hardman was wide open. I could have caught the pass. And they would have won the game. But I think between the coaching and Patrick Mahomes, they're just trying to figure out, do we run around the clock out and kick a field goal and win? Right? Or do we want to go score a touchdown to give them the ball back with a minute left with no timeouts? I just didn't understand. I mean, they were so close to winning it. I don't think their dynasty's done or any of that kind of stuff. It was just a blunder, I think, on the coaching side, or the in between the coaching and Patrick Mahomes of deciding, hey, let's go fucking score, because that's what they could have done. I mean, they had an opportunity, but the
same play you're talking about, Kelsey was open on the slant too. I mean, he wasn't completely open, but let's be honest. You give the ball to Kelsey, he's gonna make a move.
And on top of that, they quit running the ball. I don't get it. Clyde Edwards-Helaire had a 18-yard rush on the opposite end of the field. Before overtime, and it's just what are you guys doing? Just run the ball. They couldn't stop it if Clyde Edwards-Helaire was out there. But Jarrett McKinnon, I just don't get it. Happy for Joe Burrow, good for him. I'm not shocked by him winning, because that kid he has it. Whatever it is,
wins football games. Yeah,
he just has it.
Yeah, he reminds me of an old time gunslinger like Brett Favre, where he just He just goes out there and just slings the crap out of the ball. And
Except he's more accurate.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Except he's more.
His not just that, Brett Favre just threw it up and didn't give a damn. Joe Burrow actually gives a damn where he throws it. So
Yeah.
He's more accurate.
right. Moving on. 49ers Rams. Start with you, Justin. Were you surprised of the outcome or
Nah, the teams are pretty much the same verbatim, except for like, well, I backtrack. I think both of the teams are verbatim on defense. Like, I think they both have tools on defense that pretty much match each other. Yeah, you could say Aaron Donald's better than everyone on their line, sure, but throughout the whole scheme, I think they're pretty much relatively close. If I was playing them on Madden, like they would probably be like both 98 or whatever, overall on defense. But the offensive side is just where, damn, like, can Deebo Samuel not like that felt like their only offensive weapon outside of Kittle catching a couple of passes. And it's just like, if they would have had, Elijah Mitchell would have done something, like I felt like they would have probably, been in the game or even won it. Garoppolo's Garoppolo. Got to have a good defense. Got to have a good run game to set him up for success. But I just feel like all the tools on the Rams side with OBJ and Cooper Kupp and Tyler Higbee and the two running backs.
Cooper Kupp was just amazing that game, wasn't he?
Cooper Kupp's been amazing all year.
Yeah.
Dude,
and when Stafford finishing, like Stafford just doing what Stafford does. He has some passes that are like 40 yards in front of the receiver, and then he has some passes you're just like, damn, like he really is that good. So I'm not surprised, but I definitely thought Kyle Shanahan was going to beat McVay. I thought McVay was trying to lose that game at every scenario. Every play he caught, I was just like, damn, he's trying to lose.
There for a second, I thought he was going to, and then here comes Matt Stafford and Cooper Kupp.
And then Carson Wentz 3.0 showed up.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, Jimmy Garoppolo.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, 1.0 is Carson, right? 2.0 is Ryan Tannehill. 3.0 is Jimmy Garoppolo.
Gotcha.
He'll probably be your starting quarterback next year.
Shut up, Justin.
Reese,
Listen.
what was your take of the game?
Yeah. Quarterbacks, defensive lines, and weapons win Super Bowls. Like that's basically who it is, right? Quarterbacks, Matt Stafford. Defensive lines, Aaron Donald and his posse of whoever the hell he put together. And weapons, OBJ, Cooper Kupp. It's funny, and this is how stupid my fan base is. And I love, we talk about how dumb some of the other fan bases are, but nobody's as dumb as the Colts fan base, right? People think they're delusional. No. Delusional is like you know what you're talking about, but you live in this fantasy world. The Colts fan base is basically stupid, like 900% stupid. So this guy, I was arguing with this guy on Twitter, and I was just like, he was like, the only reason why we didn't have anybody, we weren't successful is because Carson Wentz sucks. And I was like, name weapon close to Cooper Kupp. He was like, you're deflecting from the fact that Carson Wentz is trash. So so it's been 3 days now, and he still can't name me one player, one receiver on our team that's on the level of Cooper Kupp. Point being is our wide receivers are ass shit besides Michael Pittman. Yeah, and if we can't fix it this year, we're going to continue to fall further behind, right? That's the O-line regressed. Our faults run deeper than Carson Wentz. Let me make that very clear. Carson Wentz blundered it for sure, but we have way more issues than just Carson Wentz. And Ballard has to fix it. Like he's historically fixed a unit of the team every year. This year has to be wide receivers. Like I cannot watch another game with Zach Pascal as my number 2 wide receiving option. Like I refuse to do it. It's they've got to do something.
Yeah, I get on that. Well, guys, predictions for 2 weeks, February 13th. Who's winning it? Maurice, start with you.
It's too early, man. Like I haven't really had it. Super Bowl week, you kind of take a week off, right? You kind of let it grow this week. It's really quiet, right? Nobody's really saying anything. The teams traveled. One team travels to the city next week, and
Right.
that's when things really take off. If I were to look at it today, I think Aaron Donald has like 35 sacks, and the Rams win by like 3 touchdowns, right? Like there's no like the Titans defensive line is good, but Aaron Donald it takes three Titans to be an Aaron Donald, right? Aaron Donald defensive line by himself. If I were to look at it today, I think it's something like 45 to 35 Rams.
Okay.
With that being said, I'm not going to disrespect Joe Burrow because he's a beast. That's why I gave him 35.
35-28 Rams. I think Jalen takes away one of the receivers, whether it be Boyd or T. Higgins. That other guy, I think his name's Nick Williams, their other corner that kind of played up the last 2 games.
Yeah,
I think that the Rams defense, and we kind of, that Bengals O-line has been exposed, and I don't think that that's going to change. I think it's going to get magnified because Aaron Donald is just going to get to Burrow and I think there's only so much that poor kid can do in the pocket because he's not a scrambler. He cannot fucking scramble at all. You know what I mean? And I think that I just think that Donald's going to get to him. Von Miller's going to get to him, and throwing up hopes and prayers in the Jalen Ramsey territory is just not going to be good. So, yeah, I think it's 35-21 Rams. Stafford gets the trophy.
You know who's also been kind of playing up this playoffs? I haven't heard from him in a while. Eric Weddle has shown up very well.
Yeah.
I forgot he played. I was like, oh, look, the Weddle's still out there? Man.
What is he, like 45 now?
He has to be out there in age.
Yeah, out there, man. It's wild.
Out there with his little rascal scooter, man, making plays.
Yeah.
I'm going to say 28-17 Rams. I think Stafford has too many weapons. Just they can't stop it. So I gotta go with the Rams.
Again, I just let's not sit here and say Joe Burrow doesn't have any weapons, right? Because he absolutely does.
He does.
And Jamar Chase is a guy for a rookie. Wow, insane! Like, is this the best rookie wide receiver we've seen ever? Season
Jefferson had a pretty good year.
Yeah, Justin Jefferson had a
rookie year.
Oh, he did. You're right. Oops. Sorry, Justin. I was not disrespecting you.
Randy Moss probably has the
Jefferson, not Justin.
Oh, Justin Bearded Guns. I'm absolutely disrespecting you, but Justin.
No. For the viewers, the listeners.
Oh yeah, for the listeners. Yeah, for the listeners.
Yeah.
Randy Moss probably has the greatest rookie season. It was pretty outrageous. But yeah, I agree with you. I mean, but let's be honest, Cooper Kupp is probably a little bit better than Jamar Chase. And then OBJ.
Right now. Yeah. But long term.
Right now. Yeah. The only thing Jamar Chase can do is get better, right?
Dude, yeah. That's the scary part, isn't it?
Right. Just like Justin Jefferson, he's doing nothing but getting better.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, for sure.
So, he's a beast, too.
Again, the wide receiver talent, just like the quarterback talent. The wide receiver talent in the league is insane right now, too.
Which is crazy because that was the one that had the biggest skill gap coming from college like 10 years ago. And now it's just like, I'm here.
There is no adjustment period anymore, right? These wide receivers are coming in and going, and it's showing in like the deeper parts of the draft how these wide receivers are already making a big impact, right? You're getting these guys that are 3rd round, 4th round guys as well. It's not just the Justin Jeffersons and the Jamar Chases, right? You're seeing these 3rd, 4th round guys making instant impacts and making a name for themselves.
The Cooper
Yeah.
Cups and
the Cooper Cups and
Right.
Michael Pittman's a good one.
Michael
Um,
Pittman. The jump from year 1 to year 2 that he had this year is insane,
The
right?
kid that plays with the Steelers, that's from USC. I can't remember his name; it escapes me. But he had a really good year.
Johnson.
Yeah. No.
Claypool
Yeah, Claypool.
from Notre Dame.
Yeah. Oh, Notre Dame. Yeah, that's what I
Yeah.
meant. Sorry. Yeah. He had a really good year. So it's just wild, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. So.
But yeah, it's kind of surprising though how everybody just skipped over Justin Jefferson. You know?
Yeah, I thought he was a slot receiver. Fucking fools.
Right. And this year, like, let's be honest, Devontae Smith didn't have a bad year. Waddle with Tua as a quarterback.
Oh my gosh.
He had a really good year. I mean, you know, there's a lot of
Yep.
yeah. And Elijah Moore for the Jets. Well, he had some good games, but again, the quarterback play was awful. So I mean, the receiver.
Yeah. The quarterback also got hurt, right? Like they were finally starting to get it rolling in the quarter, and then Zach Wilson got hurt.
Well,
So.
the best quarterback play was from the third string. That was it Zach White or some crap like that.
Oh, was that the guy that beat
Yeah,
the
Titans?
Yeah, threw like 300 yards and 5 touchdowns or something like that.
Yeah, that guy.
Yeah,
That fucking.
Yeah. It's just proving that the wide receiver's position is doing nothing but going up, which makes the game exciting. Like
Sure
especially players like Debo. I feel sorry for that guy. I hope he gets a quarterback soon. You know,
I hope they trade him.
When was he drafted? Was he drafted in the first round? I don't think so.
It was like second round or third round.
Yeah,
it was later.
We drafted Paris Campbell before him.
Ooh, that's gotta be rough.
Yeah, I know. I feel it. We could have had Paris Campbell and Michael. We could have had Deebo Samuel and Michael Pittman Jr.
Justin, did y'all draft the punter before?
Yeah, it hurts.
Debo.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah.
Well, guys, anything else before we leave?
Yes, the Washington football team has a name.
Oh, that's right. Isn't it the Commanders?
The Washington Commanders. NFL Twitter is sparking it up already. The Washington Commies.
I love it. I love it. It's dope.
So they can't get away. They can't get out of their own. They can't get away from their stupidity. So, congratulations, Washington Commanders. Welcome to the league.
Hopefully they're more smart than the the Cleveland Indians, and make sure the team wasn't copyrighted by another team, like the whole Guardians.
Yeah.
So, well, guys, with nothing else, make sure you check out our network, the Fan Battle Sports Network, sponsored by Prize Picks. Right now they're doing a deal. However much money you deposit, they match you up to $100. All you gotta do is enter the promo code FBSN. We have a couple of the admins in the group join, and they said they love it. Easy money, easy way to win money. So check it out. Also, make sure you check out our sister podcast, the River City Cats, correct?
Yeah, River City Cats podcast is coming out soon.
So if you're a Jaguars fan, I know there's not many of you out there, but check it out. Good stuff. Todd Clary and Justin Gonzalez leading the way. And then also, if you're a Colts fan, check out Christopher Jackson, Josh Sr., and Austin Hicks, I believe. You don't know Jack. And then you can check out the Texans podcast with myself and Crenshaw. Some great stuff. And if you're a Titans fan, just go to your grocery store and look at some mayo. I mean, that's the only.
Because you'll never show up here.
Right.
Or
Also,
call your local FBI agency and ask for John Haw. Could do that.
right.
I'm also planning on a solo podcast called
Ooh.
Sports Ball something. I don't know. I'm planning it out. But yeah, we'll take a look at that one, and kind of see how that goes.
So yeah, so we're making 2022 our year. So guys, thank you for riding with us. Check out all of these great podcasts. Until then, Justin, tell us where we can find you on all social media.
At Bearded Guns with a Z. Bearded Guns. Thank you.
Harish, how about you?
At the Uncle Gandhi with the GHANDI.
And you can follow myself at Cancel Tim Kelly, and you can follow the podcast everywhere at AFCSFB. Guys, till then, have a good one. We'll see you next time.
Peace.
Your time's up by the touchdown. I'm high stepping for the touchdown. I stay repping for the slums where the young bucks love to load it up just to bust rounds. I'm steady having flashbacks. Dirty cash in the glad wraps. I used to cook it like a lab rat. Bagging 50 slabs, asking junkies where the cash at. Steady booming off of 2 phones.